Shazam was a fairly fun surprise from a relatively bleak DC just a few years ago, and now its sequel emerges just as that universe may be ending. But will it be enough for Shazam to stick around in the new look DC? What's up, Nerdgenic Nation? Superhero nerd Aaron Waller here, and today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the superhero sequel Shazam! Fury of the Gods. But before we jump in, let's quickly run down what the movie is about. Bestowed with the powers of the gods, Billy Batson and his fellow foster kids are still learning how to juggle teenage life with their adult superhero alter egos. When a group of vengeful ancient gods arrives on Earth in search of a magic stolen from them long ago, Shazam and his allies get thrust into a battle for their superpowers, their lives, and the fate of the world. Now, I was excited for this movie because I really enjoyed the first Shazam, and though I wouldn't say the first film was one of my all-time favorite DC movies, I would definitely say that it was near the top of my list, so my excitement for this installment was pretty high. The story of Fury of the Gods was one aspect that I wasn't quite sure how to feel about, however. Much like the first film, this sequel has a certain layer of cheese all throughout, but I have to admit that they managed to make it much more endearing than other movies that try to achieve that same goal. The Shazam family though was just as fun as ever, though with Jack Dylan Grazer's Freddy once again being a standout. And I felt as though the family was a bit more united in this film. It was a little bit less awkward and they were able to thrive a bit better. Either that or the chemistry between the kids and their superpower cells was much better this time around. In terms of the integration of gods, this was at first appealing with Helen, Mirren, and Lucy Liu versus the Shazam family, but once their objective of regaining what was lost to them, especially after having been a totally different generation of humans who turned on them, felt a bit unwarranted and like their revenge felt a bit lifeless. I was also unsure of the return of the wizard played by Djimon Hounsou, but I really enjoyed his return. His chemistry, especially with Freddy in particular, was really good, and I really hope to see more of him in really any project that he does, as I've been a fan of his for quite some time. Now, the visuals for Shazam! Fury of the Gods were pretty good for the most part, and despite some obviously heavy CG moments that took influence from the likes of Doctor Strange as well as the DCU obviously, the film largely felt practical for a lot of segments, especially for crowds and destruction moments, which made it feel a bit more old school but also added a layer of realism to the film. And despite the use of modern CG throughout, and that realistic aspect to certain parts of the movie that I just mentioned, the best way that I can describe Shazam! Fury of the Gods is as if it were not released in 2023, but rather the early 2000s of superhero movies. Probably one of the best ways that I can describe Shazam 2 is if you can imagine combining elements of 2002 Spider-Man, 2005's Fantastic Four, Power Rangers, and Percy Jackson. If you like superpower teams, gods, monsters, and snarky fast humor, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is definitely the movie for you. Just don't take it too seriously or you'll find yourself checking out more than enjoying the ride. And for that reason, the grade that I'm going to give Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a 7 out of 10. It's an entertaining sequel that I don't necessarily think outdoes the first film, but it does make for a fun movie to throw on every so often and serve as a fairly self-contained story. The real question, however, will be what will happen with the future of Shazam, and if and how the story can continue on in the new DCU, because the blueprints are there in the comics and set up on screen. It'll all just come down to a matter of whether or not it can be executed, which I for one hope that Shazam returns for at the very least a third installment that will wrap up the trilogy. So those are my thoughts on Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and now I want to hear from you in the Nerdgenic community. What did you think of this sequel? Do you hope that Shazam sticks around for the new DCU? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below, and while you're down there, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos from me or the rest of the Nerdgenic team. And also be sure to give us a follow across all social media platforms at Nerdgenic. That way you don't miss out on any special news, announcements, or articles at nerdgenic.com. But in the meantime, if you want even more video content from us, check out our latest video, or for more DC content, check out this playlist right over here. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, we really do appreciate it, we hope to see you in the next video.